The studio lights at Jimmy Kimmel Live were as bright as ever that evening, and the audience buzzed with anticipation. The producers had been teasing this segment for weeks. Meghan Markle was coming on the show for what was billed as a candid, no-holds-barred interview. Tickets for the taping had sold out almost immediately, and the live audience was packed with fans, critics, and a healthy mix of curious onlookers eager to see how the Duchess of Sussex would fare under Kimmel's famously irreverent humor. When Meghan walked out, she looked polished, every detail of her outfit carefully chosen to project confidence and composure. The applause was loud, but not entirely warm. There was a noticeable split between the cheers and the hesitant clapping. Kimmel rose from his desk to greet her, his trademark grin plastered on his face. The handshake was polite, but there was a certain stiffness in Meghan's smile that only a few in the audience seemed to catch. For the first few minutes, things were light. Kimmel opened with questions about Meghan's recent charity work and her children. She answered with the kind of poised, diplomatic responses one would expect, her voice measured and deliberate. But then Kimmel, in true late-night fashion, began to push the conversation into more controversial territory. "So Meghan," he said, leaning forward slightly, "you've been very vocal about your unique experiences with the royal family. Some people say you've been telling the same story over and over, and others think you're rewriting history. Which is it?" The audience reacted with a mix of gasps and nervous laughter. Meghan's smile faltered just slightly. "Like our video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon." "Well, Jimmy," she began, "when you've experienced something firsthand, you're entitled to share your truth. If people don't like it, that's..." Kimmel cut her off, chuckling. "Right, your truth. That phrase is getting a lot of mileage these days. Is that different from the truth?" The crowd erupted with laughter, but Meghan didn't laugh. Her eyes narrowed just a fraction, and her voice took on an edge. "When you've lived through what I've lived through, you understand the difference between personal experience and public narrative. I won't be mocked for speaking my truth." The atmosphere shifted. What had started as playful banter began to feel like a standoff. Kimmel tried to lighten the mood with a joke about royal hats, but Meghan wasn't having it. She pushed back, accusing him of trivializing her struggles and perpetuating harmful media narratives. At this point, the audience seemed torn, half siding with Kimmel's sharp wit, half nodding along with Meghan's defense of her perspective. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Then Kimmel made a remark that would push things past the point of no return. "You know, Meghan, for someone who doesn't like the press, you sure do a lot of interviews talking about how much you don't like the press. It's kind of like someone saying they hate cake while eating an entire bakery." The crowd laughed, but Meghan visibly bristled. She leaned in toward Kimmel and said, "I didn't come here to be ridiculed, Jimmy. If this is the kind of conversation you wanted, maybe I shouldn't have come at all." Kimmel shrugged, spreading his hands in mock innocence. "Hey, you're the one who agreed to be here. We ask questions, you give answers, that's how it works. But if you want to storm off, well," he gestured toward the side of the stage. Meghan's jaw tightened. For a moment, it looked like she might just power through the rest of the interview, but then she removed her microphone, stood up, and said into the air, "I don't need this." The audience erupted into a chaotic mix of gasps, cheers, and boos as she walked off stage. Cameras caught her disappearing behind the curtain, her heels clicking sharply against the floor. Kimmel, ever the showman, turned back to the audience with a smirk. "Well, folks, that was the Duchess of Sussex. Coming up next, a guy who can juggle chainsaws." The segment went viral almost instantly after airing. Clips of Meghan leaving mid-interview flooded social media, with hashtags like #MeghanWalkout and #KimmelClash trending within hours. Supporters claimed Kimmel had ambushed her with disrespectful questions, while critics said she proved she couldn't handle tough interviews without resorting to walking away. By the next morning, every major entertainment outlet was running the story. Publicists issued carefully worded statements, insiders leaked conflicting accounts, and pundits debated whether Meghan's decision to leave was empowering or embarrassing. But one thing was certain: that night on Jimmy Kimmel Live had cemented itself as one of the most talked about late-night moments in recent history. And for Meghan Markle, it was yet another chapter in a public life where every move was scrutinized, and every clash seemed destined to become headline news.